Hey guys, what's up and welcome to my channel. For today's video, I'm gonna be showing you my journaling ecosystem because for my entire life, I've been obsessed with notebooks and with journaling and with writing in general. I have an absurd amount of notebooks in my collection. I just love collecting notebooks. They're just so pretty and I can't help myself. And ever since I was little, I also loved to write and keep a diary of my everyday life. Of course, I was never consistent with it. Even up to this day, it's not something that I do every single day. And every single time I would miss a day, then I would leave that notebook behind and just start over probably the next year with a brand new notebook, agenda, or journal. But still, the hobby remained, and I just love finding new ways to use my notebooks. For me, notebooks are a way to keep my life together. I always have to have a notebook in which I am able to put my thoughts into paper. That's just how my brain works. So with all of this being said, I have to admit that 2024 was the year in which I remained the most consistent with journaling, and probably this is the first time in my life that I have actually a structured journaling ecosystem that I can present to you. Also, I've been obsessed with this type of content on social media, so I thought I would just make my own, and who knows, maybe this can serve as some ideas that you can incorporate yourself for your leftover notebooks that you may have. Because let's be real, it's just so fun to purchase notebooks, but when it comes to using them, that's the main struggle. So without further ado, let's jump right in. My journaling ecosystem as of right now consists of 6 main notebooks. That's just how my brain likes to organize things. Out of these 6 notebooks, I have 3 that I use the most and 3 that rotate whenever I need them because they serve a specific purpose. So yeah, I'm gonna start with the sporadic ones, okay? The first one, and probably my most sporadic one, is my Barcelona journal. If you have seen my Barcelona vlogs, you know that this one is actually an agenda from 2014, but I never used it. Overall, because of how it is designed with monthly pages and full one-day pages, it worked perfectly for me to use as a planner for when I studied abroad over there, and also as a journal. It is a little bit of everything: a commonplace book, a planner, a journal, a junk journal, a travel journal, literally everything into a single notebook. But it is exclusively used when I am in Barcelona because that place is very special to me, and I do plan to go back to that city throughout my entire life. I will never get tired of that, and this is gonna keep a record of every single time I am over there, and my experiences and my thoughts and feelings and emotions and everything. Very specific, very niche, but this is my Barcelona journal. Then the second book is this one that I have over here. I bought it in Museo de la Memoria y Tolerancia here in Mexico City. I don't know. This book, I bought it probably when I was 13 years old and never used it, mostly because it has blank pages. I planned to use it as a bullet journal at the beginning, but then I didn't like my drawings. Then I planned to use it as a learning journal last year. I never used it besides one single content course that I took. And right now, I just needed a place in which I could draft my Substack articles, and I thought this would be a great notebook for that because of the quote of the cover. I don't know, it just makes sense in my brain, and I thought it would be fun to have all my drafts into a single notebook. So yeah, this is the second book over here that serves a very specific purpose. And then the third one, which is probably one of my favorites, is my Beauty and the Beast travel journal. Can you see this? This is the best gift that my mom has given me, not only because Beauty and the Beast is my favorite princess animated movie, but also because it's just so fitting to the purpose of this notebook. If you remember the Beauty and the Beast live action movie, you know that this is used as a replacement for the mirror that the Beast uses to get in contact with the outside world. And so with that in mind, I decided to make this my travel junk journal because you open it and you get in contact with the entire world, at least from my perspective. Does that sound sappy? Probably, but in my brain, it makes sense and it works for my mental organization. Please don't judge me. Anyways, this is my travel journal. I collect every single little paper that I can find during my travels, and at the end, I just come here and paste them and make an entire collage out of all of my trips that I have taken since 2017, from international ones to Mexican ones ones, from solo trips to family trips, and it's just my favorite. If I could save a single journal out of these 6, this would probably be it, because 1 is my oldest, 2 is the one that I have been most consistent with. It is getting very bulky, and I'm afraid that when I finish, this little thing is right here will not close. Those are my 3 sporadic notebooks, and now we'll move to my most frequently used journals. These first 2 you have already seen me use in a couple of my videos before. The black one is my literal journal. Since 2024, I've been journaling every single time I am happy, I am sad, I have anxiety, I am overwhelmed, I am emotional, whatever I may need to word vomit into a notebook, I use this one for that. Do not paste anything, do not decorate it at all. I just write and write and write and pour my thoughts into paper. I don't know, I love how it looks so full. I don't even pay attention to grammar, I don't pay attention to punctuation. I just vomit my words in here, and that is essentially it. I love this journal so much. This is my only journal throughout my 24 years of life that I have been truly consistent with without wanting to change my journal. This is my dangerous notebook. If someone were to open it and read it, I would have to murder that person. And then the gray one is the same format. I got both of these in Miniso. I just love how they look together, aesthetically speaking. Anyways, the gray one is my book journal. In here, I just keep quotes from my favorite books that I read on Kindle. Why only on Kindle? Because 1, physical copies I will probably have for my entire life, and if I want to reference back some of the quotes, I can just pick up the book, read it, and that's it. However, for Kindle, 1, you have to give the books back so that you can download even more books, and 2, Kindle Unlimited books do not remain under the Kindle Unlimited subscription forever, so I could potentially lose those quotes. And yes, it has happened to me with 2 books already before I started with this book journal. The only thing that I do for this is paste the book cover at the title, the author, the series, paste a little collage of the book aesthetic, which I download as such from Pinterest. I'm too lazy to take the time to make my own collages, and then I fill the entire page with my favorite quotes. I only do 1 page per book, and that is how I've been filling this journal out. Besides that, at the beginning I was using this notebook for my creative writing, and also I included at the beginning of last year my 2024 reading log and my series tracker, which honestly I got bored tracking, so I'm not doing it again on 2025. I'm just gonna finish filling out my series tracker, and that's gonna be it for the tracking portion. I'm just not really a fan of meticulously tracking things, because otherwise my brain gets too focused on tracking and tracking and tracking and completing, and just be very meticulous with whatever the fuck I'm tracking, and that at some point takes the fun out of that. So I've come to the conclusion that for these journals that are more towards the creative side, I don't want to track anything. I just want to add to them. So yeah, as of right now, this notebook is exclusively a book journal for my Kindle Unlimited quotes. And last but not least, this is my most recent addition, and I am completely obsessed with it. My traveler's notebook. I love this thing so much. I've been consuming a lot of content of people having a Louise Carmen, a traveler's company, something like that. I don't even remember all of the brands that are similar to this one. I am not gonna lie, I want a Louise Carmen so bad, but they are just too expensive. I'm not gonna pay 200 euros for a journal. Hopefully in the future I'm rich enough that I can afford that, but for now I can't and I won't. So this one I got on Amazon. And funny story, when I came back from Barcelona, I have a post-travel kind of crisis in which I just got very overwhelmed with my life. I'm not gonna get into detail with that, but it was a very rough week. Not to be dramatic, but I seriously started questioning everything in my life, and my mental health was not good. So in my logic, what's the best solution to get my life together? Get a new notebook. And I do not regret my decision. I am so obsessed with this one. I use it every single day, and the freedom of having 3 different little notebooks over here that are exchangeable and very free in terms of the designs and the formats that I want to use them for gives me this joy and flexibility of using it without the pressure of tracking things. But this one, I just write. I don't follow any specific format. Whatever I feel like writing, whatever I'm thinking, whatever I need need, I use this one and I couldn't be happier. So to give you a tour of this one, the notebook itself came with 2 inserts and a plastic pouch, and then additionally I bought a couple of inserts as well. In here, I'm going to admit I messed it up because I calculated the wrong size of notebook. This is a Moleskine A5 notebook. I don't remember the specific name, but I'm gonna put it on the screen, and I swear to God, the measurements were the exact same ones of my journal. I don't know what happened. I don't know where I fucked it up. When I looked in Amazon, I specifically made sure that the measurements were the same, but apparently they weren't. So I'm not gonna waste those inserts. Still, it looks good. It doesn't look that bad. So I'm just gonna use them up, and then when I need more inserts, I'll probably make sure to buy the correct ones this time around. But yeah, I have 3 inserts over here. The first one is my commonplace book, in which right now I'm using more for to-do list, but literally this is used for my brain dumps. Then the second insert is for my content planning. In here, I write my video ideas, I track my social media numbers, I do my content schedule, and I also keep track of the ones that I have already filmed, the ones that I have already edited, and the ones that I have already posted. Yeah, pretty self-explanatory. Anything regarding content creation goes over here. And then the big one, I'm using it for my creative writing. Kind of the same thing as my Substack notebook, but this one is on the go. This can vary from creative writing, Substack drafting, or writing anything regarding my book. That is also going over here. And yeah, very simple, very easy, very minimal, so that my brain doesn't get overwhelmed and I actually use this and stay consistent with this. Those are the 3 inserts that essentially cover all of the areas of my life, and this really helps me to keep myself organized. Sometimes just having a blank piece of paper works better than having an actual planner that gets very specific with how you should be tracking and planning and structuring your days. This type of planning system works better for me, and who am I to argue with that? But yeah, these are all of my notebooks, these are all of my babies, and these are the areas and ways in which I literally organize and categorize my brain. So yeah, thank you so much for hearing me jab about this. I had so much fun. I love every single one of these, and I hope that it served as inspiration for you to not only start journaling, but also use up your notebooks and be creative with whatever you decide to track, whatever you decide to document, whatever you decide to journal about. It's completely up to you. Use as many notebooks as you want and structure them however works best for you. But yeah, that is essentially everything for me today. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate you hearing me yap literally about notebooks. If you want to see a little bit more of my day-to-day life, feel free to follow me on Instagram or TikTok. I'm also active on there, and I'll see you in my next video. Clutter my little